This is a quick overview of StarScope 2. This is the software that complements your new telephone. Think of this software kind of as an extension of your phone. We're going to use it to control the phone. We're also going to use it to look at the status of other people, their availability, and also contact them. So let's start going over a few of the things here, starting from left to right. First, we have what they're calling a shoebox. It's this top corner here. And basically this is contacts and groups. I don't think you'll use this much. It's set for a future release. But any contacts that you add to the phone through the directory function will show up here. However, you have to add them through the phone. These do not sync up to the contacts in Zimbra. Next, we have your main menu here. Notice there's an arrow. Anytime you see an arrow, that means you can expand with this and both dial a number. We have two lines. You have your main line 279 and then my secondary line 279A. So basically if you're on the phone on 279 and someone else calls you, then you can switch over to them by hitting answer on your phone or here on the computer. Kind of like call waiting on a cell phone. We'll come back to this a little later. You've got park calls, which is basically a parking spot. The receptionist might put a call for you if he can't find you. You can go to any phone then, hit that line, and pick that call up. Dial a number is a neat feature. Basically you have a keypad or you can type in a number and your phone on your desk will dial that number. A good way to use this is maybe copy and paste a number out of database, email, or a website, throw it in here, hit this button. Your phone will ring, as you can hear, you'll pick it up. It will then start to dial the number that you put in. So for instance, dialing my cell phone. You're going to hear my cell phone ring in a second. I'll hang that back up. So it's a great feature. We are working on finding a way that you can just click a number on your computer and it dials your phone, but that's not out yet. Another thing you want to take a look at is groups. As you can see on the right here, we've got all staff members, but you may just want to see some folks that you contact most often instead of looking at the entire staff. And so you can create as many groups as you want. Upon creating them, you can then start dragging and dropping people into your group. Just put it right over the name. We'll expand, and it should flow right in. There's Angela. So notice down here, I now have my group, my department, with Angela in it. On the right, this is the status of all staff members. So basically, this is known as presence or availability. You can see if someone's on the phone, if they're not on the phone, based upon the color of the phone icon. You can also see if they have their StarScope open by noticing the little man here. Holly has hers open, Jeff has his open, but no one else does yet at this time. That means you can instant message them. When you call them, you're going to pop up on their screen and so forth. So let's take a look at one of these. If I open up Jeff, extension 271, I could call him. So if I hit this phone button, my phone rings. As soon as it rings, I'm going to pick up the phone and it's going to buzz Jeff. This is a great way, instead of trying to remember what extension numbers are, just come in here, find the person, hit the phone button, and it's going to dial them. Now we've got a lot of people here. Let's say I'm looking for Lynn and I'm not sure where she's at. I can just start typing her name. It brings her up. I then hit the button and it dials them. I hit the X down at the bottom right again, the search to get out of it. So you can see if you set up a group of people you use most often, you won't have to sort through all of that. Another feature, let's say I'm on a call. I'm going to go ahead and dial my cell phone again. Okay, I answered the phone. It's now dialing my cell phone. So we'll wait for that to happen. Alright, I've answered the cell phone. So now I'm on the call. 271-5979 is who I'm talking to. Now if someone else on this screen was on a call and their phone was red, you'd be able to click their name and it would show you who they're talking to and for how long. Whether if it's an internal staff member, it'll show their name. If it's external, it'll just show the number. So I've got a call going here with 271-5979. I want to transfer this to Chris. All I have to do is grab this call and drag it over to Chris Gruey. Now, I don't know where Chris is, so I could have searched for him first. does go by alphabetical right now. There he is. Drop the call on him. It is now ringing his phone. You can see by it's yellow. Chris just answered, so it's red. Hi, Chris. Thanks for answering. And then I'm going to hang up the call, and now it's back to green. Up here we have a status, so if you want to be unavailable, you can be, or you can put another status in, you know, I'm out to lunch or whatever, and that'll show up. Just kind of like Instant Message does back in the old days, actually. So that's a basic overview of the StarScope and how you can see the presence of other people, whether they're on the phone or not. Again, let's say Jeff is on the phone. I want to send him an instant message. I can click the chat button and then ask Jeff to stop by. That way I don't have to remember to go back to it. Now when I hit that, because his little man's on, a pop-up screen will pop up on his screen with my message, and he can choose to ignore it or reply back. A couple other options. I'm going to click the minus to get rid of that. Come up here to Settings, which is the top right, and you can change the display to expanded. This will give you kind of more of a panel or a cards look, which will show the option for each person. It's quite expanded, but you may like that. I'm going to go back to compact. You can also change how things are sorted. Right now they're sorted by name. You could go by extension, the status, so people who are on the phone would be last, and your locations. You can sort them by just clicking this and dragging, so that maybe you want your department first, and when I do that, you notice my department went to the top. Alright, that's a brief overview of the StarScope software. Remember, this is to be on all the time. It'll hang out in the background. You're going to have other windows on top of it, but when you get a call or you get a instant message, you'll get a pop-up, and then you can decide to answer that or reply back to that message.